But the number of people getting married is on a steady decline, with the number of church weddings falling steadily over a decade. So what difference does it make when the royal family have a wedding? Does it make marriage seem more attractive to young people? Well, the man who might know about this, so the lady who might know, is Michaela Hyde, and she's from the Marriage Foundation, which campaigns to promote marriage as the key to social stability in the UK. Good morning.
Good morning there, Luella.
Hello. Now,
Hi.
wedding, beautiful, wasn't it?
It was stunning. I loved it. I'm a complete romantic and was quite soppy and got a little bit emotional as well.
Like
yeah.
all of us, Michaela, like all of us.
Yeah.
I feel quite flat this morning.
Yeah, I know.
Now, it was, undoubtedly, it was just done so well, wasn't it? It was a magical fairy tale wedding. But what do you think the effect of a wedding like this has on people?
Well, of course, it wasn't that long ago that William and Kate got married in 2011, and their wedding did have a huge impact on marriage rates. So in 2012, in the first quarter, marriage rates went up by 25%. So the number of people getting married really increased. And in the second quarter, 13%. I mean, we literally haven't seen rates like that since the Second World War. So that clearly had a huge impact. And I think with the popularity of Meghan and Harry, I think we can certainly expect to see the same thing happening. And that is a really interesting thought, because it does demonstrate that external events can influence those private decisions being made at home. And you wonder whether people were sitting there yesterday watching it and thinking, wow, this is amazing. Should we do the same? I don't know, but clearly it had an effect before, and certainly we can see the same. I think we'll be able to see the same again. And I think part of that is when you're actually seeing a couple that are so clearly in love, but actually what's so important, clearly committed to each other. I know we don't know entirely, we can't sit and actually ask them the questions ourselves, but there was such a sense of commitment to one another. I mean, Meghan has had to make a really big decision in choosing to marrying into the royal family.
And giving up her career.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a huge thing. I know we see all the sort of the fairy tale element, but actually it's a big sacrifice as well to be thrust into the limelight in the way that she has. But I think, as I say, the commitment is one of the key aspects to making marriages work. You know, when you begin a marriage together, when you decide to marry, the two people sit down together and you say, let's live the rest of our lives together. Let's see if we can do this. You know, that's what I did, what others have done.
Yes, and I'm a romantic and I think it's a lovely idea. But of course, Michaela, cynics might say that people might watch this royal wedding and do what you said they might do, think, isn't it a wonderful idea? But not really thinking it through. They just want the pomp, they want the ceremony, they want the attention. Everything was so gorgeous. And that's bad news, really, isn't it?
Well, do you know something? I mean, I think one of the big concerns is actually we don't need to spend a huge amount on a wedding. In fact, I mean, the royals are slightly different, but ordinarily, if a huge amount is spent, then that's actually a predictor for the marriage not necessarily kind of going through and following through. But actually, the actual decision to get married and to stay together, people that choose to marry do typically tend to stay together. There's this myth that there's a lot more divorce. Actually, divorce rates are as they were in 1975, so there really isn't a huge difference at all. In fact, the fact that it stayed at that point is quite astonishing.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Because we're all led to believe that people are just getting divorced at, the flick of a switch.
And actually, the reality is that there are less people, perhaps choosing to marry. And actually, the people that are not choosing it as often are those in the sort of lower income bracket. So, for example, 87% of people in the sort of higher income bracket, 43k and above, are choosing marriage. Whereas at the very, very bottom, at sort of 16k and below, only 24% are choosing to be married. Now, because I'm this sort of person that has a real sense of what's fair and right. And for me, I think it just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair that the sort of the better off are reaping the benefits of a stable relationship, which is good for society, but it's good for their kids, good for them as a couple. And these lower income families are just not benefiting, and it perpetuates something. We know that often children from broken families and so on, their life chances, their sense of well-being, their mental health, all of those are decreased by the impact of broken families and And actually, where the main family breakdown happens is within couples that aren't actually married.
Well, Michaela, that's a conversation for another time, I'm afraid. But it's good news all round. I think that we are looking at marriage, and it's still there. It's never going to go away, is it?
Absolutely.
Michaela, thank you very much for coming on the show and talking about
Pleasure.
something which is just a lovely subject.
Totally, absolutely. Pleasure to be here today.
Thank you very much.